Welcome to DU Digimon.
Hello and welcome to DU Digimon, and welcome to a kind of combo guide slash gameplay kind of commentary for the Hiro deck. We've done a couple of videos on the Hiro deck already, a card by card kind of analysis with our Bait or Busted series, as well as a full on deck profile for this deck. So do make sure you go and check those out after this video if you are interested in this absolute clusterfuck of a deck. Now, you'll be seeing the deck profile briefly here on screen, but we have got a full deck profile video for that one, so do make sure you go and check that out. We're going into our first match. Now, these are sped up, of course, and we ended up mulliganing, and we've kind of got a hand of basically just rookies, which isn't that bad. We've got two of our draw ones, so that's not too bad. We go to the Agumon first, hoping that we're going to get to the WarGreymon. We're going to play out the Gumdramon, trash another Gumdramon, draw two, and we do get that WarGreymon to set that later potential warp. Now we are up against Red Hybrid, and Red Hybrid of course is a very aggro heavy deck. Got a few new tricks in this set as well, and going to be very interesting to see how we do. We're going to keep the Agumon in the back and just go to a Garnet memory boost. We just need to try and search pieces, and we're going to add the Siriusmon here again to potentially set up a later warp play if we can. They're going to push out the Agunimon, which is going to be kind of digivolved into the Aldermon, I believe. No, the Burning Greymon, sorry. And that will then allow them to later go on into the Aldermon, I believe. So going to swing in, use the when attacking to then digivolve up, eventually into the Aldermon. There it is. That's two checks. It's going to be bigger than that WarGreymon. Or is that two checks? Was it two checks? Might have been two checks. I can't remember. We're going to move up the Agumon now. This was a bit of a misplay on my part. I thought I had the requisites to go to the WarGreymon because I saw his DP was massive, completely forgetting that all of his DP boosts were your turn effects. So instead we are going to go up into our Agunimon, put the Digivolution card underneath us, and just smack into that Aldermon. We're bigger than him now, so we might as well get rid of it and try and clear the board. We've got the Agumon out here, and we do think about swinging in with it, but instead we decide to reserve it and go into the Arresterdramon just to play out the Hiro that we've got in our hand and start setting up our tamers, because we want to make sure we're setting up our tamers as quickly as possible in this deck. They're going to be hatching their Koromon. The Takuya is going to have a little think about whether or not it's going to digivolve up, and they decide not to. So I'm not too sure if they didn't have anything in hand or something like that, but they go to the Bokomon and then the Flamemon just to kind of get their board a little bit wider. We're then going to hatch our Gumdramon. Hiro is going to get us some memory, and we're going to put the Gammamon in the back to set up our warp play for later. We then go into the Guilmon because we want to make sure we're cycling as much as we can through this deck. We attack in with the Arresterdramon, get another draw. Attack in with a Agunimon, I believe. Yep, there we go. So we attack with the Agumon as well, which is not going to use the spread attack effects. We do not have a level 5 in hand. We don't play that many level 5s in this deck, and I have been thinking about whether or not we need to go back to trying to increase our level 5 ratio, but ultimately I don't really want to. The Omni Shoutmon is kind of useless without all the cross-heart support, and making room for all the cross-heart support really changes how you're going to play the deck. And the Globemon is good, but without the link mechanic, it's just kind of a big body, so it doesn't really do that much. Anyways, back to their turn. So we've managed to kind of search another little piece with Garnet. They're going to go to the Agunimon on top of Flamemon using the Takuya effect to do it nice and cheaply, just for the one cost, which is one of those new kind of tricks that the deck has got access to. They're going to place the what's the name of that one? It gives piercing. I can't remember the name of that one, but it's one of the red hybrids, the green-red one, going up underneath. The Aldermon coming out. Now this is the big one that is going to delete our Agunimon, and then they're going to go into the Emperor Greymon promo. Now I'm looking to explore the Emperor Greymon promo as well as the other cards from the illustrated celebration pack. So do make sure to keep an eye out for that video when it does come out. Now we are going to then save our Arresterdramon pieces. We put the Gumdramon underneath Hiro as well as the Arresterdramon, so we've got those underneath, which will hopefully go along with our Tagiru. Now we do decide to move out this Gammamon after some deliberation. We're trying to have a think. We get a memory. We're going to go to the Arresterdramon, which will allow us to play out the Tagiru. So we've kind of got that little play set up. We still have not got the ability to warp up into the Siriusmon because we don't have the relevant amount of security. and we also don't have enough tamers. But we are going to ultimately swing in with this Gammamon, get a little cheeky draw. They will block it, of course. So whether or not that was the right play, unfortunately we got the Takato just a card too late, which is a real shame. We're going to go into the Arresterdramon to swing in as well. We're then going to go Garnet, and we're going to play out that Takato, and we are simply just going to go hard play our WarGreymon, which will not delete anything because that's the when attacking, when digivolving effect, but it will at least get blocker and 2k from the Takato, whilst also getting some form of immunity. So it does give us a defensive play at the very least. Going back into their turn now, so the Takuya's going to choose not to digivolve anything, I believe, and oh no, they do digivolve the Takuya into the what's your name again? I can't remember its name. I cannot remember. It's just gone from my head. It doesn't exist. It's just a green-red hybrid thing. I can't remember the name. It gives piercing. One of you guys in the comments will let me know. They're going to go to the C security, hitting into our Agumon, get a bunch of draws, and play out a tamer. Then they will have a little think on what to do next. Go into the Aldemon, which of course is going to still be smaller than our WarGreymon, so they're not going to want to swing in here, but they will go into a second copy of the Emperor Greymon in just a moment, which will be really bad news for our Arresterdramon, which will get deleted and will get saved, which will be cool. But ultimately, and we do get the memory from the Guilmon as well. So going up to 4 memory, we get to do the double save. And we're going to put both of the pieces underneath our Tagiru, and those pieces are going to be Agumon to give us the reboot, as well as the Arresterdramon itself as per its effect. So a little 2000 DP and a reboot underneath our Tagiru. We then hard draw into a Agunimon, and we're going to hatch the Gammamon. No eggs in hand, unfortunately. Memory gains from the Takato and the Hiro. And then we are going to decide whether or not to do the memory draw. We do it ultimately, just to get a little bit more card draw. And go 0 to the Agumon because we hard drawed into that. And then having a think on what to do. Now, right here, there's definitely a better way that we could do what is about to happen, essentially. We just, unfortunately, this was the first game of the day. Brain was not quite working yet. We are, it's too smooth at this point. But we go into the Aguni, which we could have actually suspended with its own effect to reduce the cost. I realised, but ultimately this is the play we went with. We get the block on Takato. We then get the Arresterdramon. Now the Arresterdramon is really interesting because it completely changes what we should have done here. We're going to show what we did end up doing, which is going into Shoutmon Superior Mode on top of WarGreymon, trashing all of the stuff from the Emperor Greymon, bottom decking the miscellaneous green-red hybrid that I can't remember. That goes there. We then go into Arresterdramon for 3, which is going to allow us to raid into the Emperor Greymon, and get the piercing. And we have set up an ace play here. However, what we're going to do is just pause the game a second and let's have a chat about what we should have done here. So essentially, if we had done the right thing with this turn, we could have actually cleared their entire board. We had the Arresterdramon Superior Mode, we had the WarGreymon in hand, so instead of going into Superior Mode first, we should have gone into Arresterdramon first, on top of the Agunimon. That then would have been able to raid piercing into one of the Emperor Greymon, then swing again into the other Emperor Greymon, or we could have gone into WarGreymon on top of the Arresterdramon Superior Mode, deleting the Bokomon, and then swinging to delete the Emperor Greymon. So, real shame that we didn't think that through properly, because we could have cleared their board, and potentially that could have gotten the game in our favour, and we could have won this. But, as you'll see, unfortunately we didn't do that, and the game will now continue. So as the game now continues, they get to go into their turn, and this is where they kind of get to just recover recover their board, essentially. So they would have been able to recover all of this on the next turn anyway, but this would have been the difference between game and not game, I feel, because of the amount of memory they had. So they can digivolve up into Emperor Greymon with the old Takuya, which is going to put 5 sources underneath, digivolve up into that Emperor Greymon, and then it will delete anything with DP less than itself, which will of course be our Arresterdramon Superior Mode, because that is our blocker and would have been our potential WarGreymon ace coming their way. Then swing in 2 checks for that, go into the Pokemon, and there you go. I think ultimately it wouldn't have mattered that much, that one, but you know, we could have played that better potentially. But we were really close against a really powerful deck. Next match we go into, we are against the Kalum, or Kalum. I'm not too sure how you're going to say that name. But we have a okay hand, and we decide to keep it. We've got a couple of good things in our favour with this one. And the main combo we've got here that is really good is we've got the Agumon, the Takato, and the Taiki. And the reason those three are really good together is because the Takato and the Taiki give the relevant colours that you need for the Agumon warp. So, you know, you've got red, purple, and yellow, so it's 3 colours there on the board, so you can make sure you can warp up into the WarGreymon. They also give you some really good keywords, the 3 of them all combined. Agumon will give you the reboot, whereas Takato will give you the blocker, and Taiki, although it doesn't have the actual keyword on it, essentially gives you blitz, so you'll be able to kind of attack in with that WarGreymon. Now, we are going to just hard play the Taiki. We're just playing it slow. Sometimes that's how it goes with heroes. We just want to play it slow. We're just going to go really just kind of lackadaisical, and you know, we're not gonna go too ham too quickly. Meanwhile, our opponent, who is playing Heavy Metal Dramon, is going mega ham mega quickly, because that's what Heavy Metal Dramon wants to do. It wants to go as hard and fast as possible, because of the fact it will, you know, deplete its own card advantage. So they go up right the way up into the Heavy Metal Dramon, or the Loudmon first, sorry, which has got the raid, has got the piercing. Obviously doesn't really matter right now, but it gets that 4000 DP, which really does matter. I mean, it's, you know, it's getting massive. You know, I think it's actually, do you only get the DP if you've got, I can't remember, but they go to Heavy Metal Dramon for free, which is, you know, I know there's the, and it's still Loudmon. Sorry, this is not the greatest commentary, guys. I really should make the screen I'm watching a bit bigger so I can actually see what's going on. But it goes to the Loudmon. That's going to swing in. They're going to then Digivolve up into the Heavy Metal Dramon mid-swing. That's where I was getting confused. Which is going to net them 2 checks with an absolutely massive 19k. I mean, that is a big scary boy. They do give us another hero though, so they give us the hero, which is going to give us a memory at the start of the turn, which is not ideal for them. They do then play out the Punkmon, and then we get Arresterdramon Spirit Mode, and that completely changes what we're going to do. So we're no longer worrying about warping up now. We are just going to climb up in the old kind of fashioned way. We are going to put all of our stuff into this Agumon, so we are gaining memory, gaining draw from the Taiki. We're then going to go up into the Arresterdramon, which is not going to play out a tamer for us, but we are going to give it blocker with the Takato. We might as well, because there's not enough in trash to gain the 2000 DP, and there won't be, so we might as well just do it now. We then go into the superior mode, which will go, you know, attack without suspending, use the raid to go into the Punkmon after getting us a draw. Like, this is Arresterdramon Superior Mode is like probably the best card in the deck. It's so good. It's so freaking good. Just an amazing pseudo boss monster. Then, instead of attacking again with the Arresterdramon Superior Mode, well, because we've got the Taiki, we are going to Digivolve into Siriusmon in our hand, after we have a look and just make sure they've got no on-deletions that we want to be worried about. Go to the Siriusmon, then that is going to allow us to put something underneath it. We're going to put the Gumdramon underneath, which is then going to delete the Heavy Metal Dramon. We then get to get a draw from Hiro, but they ultimately decide to scoop here, which is a real shame, because they had the trainings, they had the scrambles, they could have potentially made a comeback next turn, but not enough cards in their hand, I suppose, so they decided to quit. But now, on to the next match. Now, just as a kind of a thing straight away, this one, again, does act and a little bit prematurely, but we had some really cool stuff going on, so I thought I would show it anyway. So we did decide to mulligan and kind of end up with a similar-ish kind of hand, but we do have some potential with this hand. So we're going to just go to the Gammamon, for 0. We then get the Gumdramon, but we decide to play out the Takato, because that will just get us a memory if they decide to play anything out. And again, we want to try and set up our tamers as quickly as possible in this deck. The tamers are not usually a win con in this game, unless you are playing like you know, Marcus, WarGreymon, that sort of thing. But in this deck, the tamers are so integral to your resource gathering, you do want to make sure they are out as quickly as possible. They are absolutely, you know, priority number 1, because without them, you can't do a lot of your warping shenanigans as we do in this build. We're then going to go into the Arresterdramon, which is going to get the blocker. We might as well, because we've got nothing in the trash. We then go into the superior mode, which is then going to raid into this Clockmon, which is not going to save anywhere because they don't have anything yet. We also net a draw there. We've set ourselves with a blocker. And we have also set ourselves with the WarGreymon Ace play, which is not foreshadowing. I never foreshadow on this channel, ever. We go into the security, get the piercing, they bring out the U Amano, and they're going to push out this Psychmon. So they've got 3 memory to work with, which is a fair amount, to be fair. And we're going to see what they can do. So they're placing a Digimon cover saving its text underneath the U to gain an extra memory. They're putting the Digimon under U specifically. So yeah, check yourself after watching this. You've got a Digimon under U. That was a terrible choke, and I do apologise. We're then going to just wait for a while, because I think there was definitely some syncing issues with this match, which, I mean, to be fair, you'll see why. But Arresterdramon is then going to get played out, which is going to put another Arresterdramon underneath them, which is going to give them an additional source for their Arresterdramon Superior mode. Now, I was really worried they were going to go into the old Superior mode here, but they went into the new one, which I knew straight away we could deal with. Their Arresterdramon Superior mode is ultimately the Superior mode that we should be... our girlfriend tells us not to worry about, although they are bigger than our Superior mode. But it's not going to matter, because their Superior mode can't become a WarGreymon. And WarGreymon, of course, is going to blast in, go ham, get the immunity, because we've got the 2-coloured Takato, and then it's going to blow them up. So there you go. The Arresterdramon Superior mode is a very powerful card, but does lack protection, so it can get abused by aces, and that was a prime example of that. And just goes to show we can set up some cheeky little counterplays in this. It's a very simple counterplay. I'm not saying that this is like necessarily like the most wild play you could ever make, but it is just a showcase of what you can do. We've either had a really big blocker there, or a ace target. Now we're going to go into the Agumon in the back. We are then going to try to go swing in, get our draw from the Gammamon. We are absolutely massive with the WarGreymon. And then there's going to be some syncing issues, and unfortunately we are going to disconnect after we play this Gumdramon. The Gumdramon will not actually be allowed to resolve its on play, which is a shame, because next we would have gone and played out one of our Guilmons, because we had a spare one in hand, trash it and get some draws. So potentially that was 4 bodies on board that we could have swung for game with, but we'll never know. But on to the next match. Now, for some context before we get into this one, we're going to show a little clip of some gameplay from a previous match I had against this specific player. He's a blue armor player, so a really powerful deck that Heroes is not really going to be that kind of good against usually. And in our first match, he absolutely smashed us pillar to post. He went into a fire rocket, gave himself security attack +1 with the Magnamon, swung in for those 2 checks, then managed to unsuspend with the Magnamon X, because of course that's what it's going to do. We were just too slow to kind of get going. Got his final check, and then went into Omnimon X to swing for game, and we just scooped. So it's safe to say our deck took that personally, as we get into our second game against this player. Now, our starting hand doesn't appear to be the greatest, but we do have a lot of our stuff getting ready, getting set up for our Siriusmon warp. So we've got the Gammamon in the back. We go into Hiro, get those as a priority, straight onto the board. Now, we are quite fortunate in this match, because it looks like he really had issues with consistency in this game, compared to the first game me and him had. So we're going to go into the VMon. He's going to search out some stuff, having a think on what to do next, and goes into the Magnamon for 3 cost, which is of course going to allow him to do some shenanigans. We're going to get our extra memory from Hiro, and we just go into the Tagiru again. We just want to build up as many of our tamers as possible before we get swinging. Now, our security is absolutely goated on this turn. First of all, he hits into that WarGreymon Ace. Now he swings to the VMon, and then it's Crimson Blaze, our one-off Crimson Blaze, deleting his entire board. Chef's kiss. Love it. Love it when security does that. I don't like it when security doesn't do that, but this time it did do that. We're then going to have to think about whether or not we want to keep this Gammamon in the back, and we do ultimately. We get our memory from the Hiro, and then we get our memory draw from the Tagiru, putting the Agumon underneath. So obviously we're kind of going all in on the Gammamon warp at this point. We're not going to be able to set up the Agumon one really, so we decide to go in all in on the Siriusmon, put Agumon underneath. We might be able to use it later. We then have this Gumdramon there, We go into the Agunimon eventually, once I get there. There you go. Come on. Do it. Do it. Just do it. Just do it. There you go. Thank you, me. We go to the Tagiru, which is going to reduce the cost by 1 and put that Agumon underneath, potentially setting up a later reboot blocker if we need it. Then we're going to place I believe we placed the Arresterdramon underneath. No, with the Gumdramon. Which is then going to get some memory and draw. So we basically did that for free. And then out comes the Taiki. And the great thing about the Taiki now being out is this has set up our warp. So if they swing in with that Vmon, we get the warp because we've got 2 or fewer security. If they don't swing in that Vmon, we've got the warp because we've got 3 differently named tamers in play. And each of the tamers are going to do different things for us, netting us certain memory, certain draws. Now going into that accursed fire rocket again, into the Magnamon, which is going to strip a source from our Agunimon, but luckily he's a single colour, so not that much. Now it comes Takato, which is nice, and then Siriusmon is going to give that Magnamon a little bit of a headache and make it go away. Now he's got 2 Vmons on the board. He's going super wide. He's trying to kind of outgun us and out with numbers essentially. We're going to gain a member from Hiro, gain a member from Takato. Then we're going to decide which one of our dudes we're going to do next. Do Tagiru, put the Agumon underneath to get the memory and draw. But we decide not to use the Taiki. I believe, because we just want to make sure we've got enough sources in our hand to put underneath our Siriusmon. We're going to warp into Siriusmon, reducing the cost of it by 1 and placing Agumon underneath, so it's now got reboot. We're then going to gain a memory and draw from Hiro, just to make sure we can get another potential piece. Then the Siriusmon, Takato, sorry, give ourselves the blocker. We've got the reboot, so we've got blocker and 2 extra 2k, really nice. Then we are going to go next into the Siriusmon, using its ability to put Gammamon underneath it and delete one of those Vmon. We're not going to use the Taiki, no point. Then going to swing in, get a draw from the Gurimon, put another Gammamon underneath there. We've put a lot of stuff into this Siriusmon, and what do we hit into? We hit a fire rocket, which deletes a blocker and security. I was so mad. I was looking at this fire rocket just in disbelief. My wife had just come home, so she was trying to talk to me, and I just was completely in shock, not hearing any words she was saying, because it's just like I just got fire rocketed, and she had no idea what I meant, and I only apologised. But we then go into the Gammamon. We're just going to try and do some hard playing now, because we've lost our big guy. 2 checks completely gone on a massive dude. That would have been so good. Big blocker, big just stuff going on. They go into the Davis, and if they'd had a Vmon in hand, we would have been absolutely cooked here. But luckily, they didn't. We then go into the Arresterdramon, which is going to play another Tagiru, and the Taiki is going to be useless because we don't have anything with Rush. So we've got 2 level 4s and our army of children and a dream. We have a dream that this guy is not going to be able to do much with 1 memory, and that we are going to get like the best homie draws that you've ever seen. And we actually are going to get the best homie draws that you've ever seen. They're going to go to this Vmon, and they're going to search away. We're then going to get Superior Mode off the top. Holy crap, great draw. Really, really good. We're then going to get our memory off of the Hiro and Takato. We're then going to do our memory and draw with Tagiru, and we get a second Superior Mode. We have game now. We have game now because we're able to just go up to 6 memory. We don't even need necessarily 6 memory. We'd only need 4 because of the fact we get the reductions from our Tagirus. We decide not to use the last Tagiru, just to make sure we've got a rookie in the back just in case. We then go to Superior Mode number 1. We're going to reduce the cost of it. Putting the Agumon underneath, I think we do. Yeah, the Agumon underneath first. And then I could have saved the second Tagiru to reduce the second one and put something else underneath it, but I instead decided to just go all in on this one because I was pretty certain we'd be okay here. These guys are going to be bigger than anything in their security. They're going to gain our memory, gain our draws from the Hiro. They're going to use the raid and piercing. We don't use the blocker for Takato because I do not want to get fire rocketed again. I had PTSD. I was not getting fire rocketed again, so no blocker. We then swing twice with this Arresterdramon, bring them around 1 security, go into the second Arresterdramon Superior Mode, tack in again without suspending. Bosh. We are not going to use the good blocker, we don't bother with the Taiki, and then we swing for game with that Superior Mode. And we just beat Blue Armor. Granted, they were bricking to all shit, but we beat them. And that is the combo guide and gameplay for this one. So a couple of little combos that you saw in this one. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. I know it's a bit of a casual, kind of gameplay video, and it's not often that we do these kind of videos, and they're just kind of casual. I have no idea how well the algorithm will treat it. If the deck profile on Monday is anything to go by, not very well. So I'd appreciate a like and subscribe. if you did enjoy this content, and any sort of kind of support would be absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I look forward to what we do on Friday. I'm going to try and do a little card analysis into the illustrated celebration pack cards for that day. So another kind of more scripted video if I have time. If not, it'll probably be something else like a deck profile or something like that, but we'll see. This week's kind of turned into the we just make content and we hope it works kind of week, because it's just been a busy weekend followed by a very busy week. But I hope you guys enjoyed that one, and we'll see you again on the next video. But until then, keep it digital.